Hi Leo, welcome to your 2017 horoscope for the year. So for you, relationships are up for scrutiny this year. There will be many opportunities for Leos to air their grievances in open-hearted discussions and conversations with your loved ones. 2017 is where you lay all your cards on the table and find out who your genuine soul companions are, really. You can blame all that on this year's 2 eclipses in Leo. They will be the real catalysts for all this sifting of your address books and contacts. In 2017, Leo just won't have the patience to wear a mask with people it can't be authentic with. Even if you do try, cracks will start to show fairly quickly, and there's no room for falsity. You will also have great enthusiasm for debate and learning. Why waste a minute on small talk with people below your intellectual stature? It's not all about brainstorming, however. There is certain lower chakra tempest brewing if you want to get your hair messed up. Despite Saturn cramping your style in your lover's house, there are still opportunities to ignite an old flame, especially if the meeting takes place abroad. Foreign travel has many creative and inspiring possibilities this year, from whichever level you want to experience it. So, even if romance is unrequited or unconsummated, it will serve as a muse for any artistic projects. Don't forget to pack your sketchbook or notebook. Working hard on these projects is probably the best use of Venus's long stay in your creative house, and it will join hands with Saturn on its journey. You will probably attract long-lasting Venusian-type friendships this year, maybe people involved in antiques, theatre, or ancient artifacts. Museums will pull you into their dusty vaults, and you should find inspiration from mysterious old manuscripts and occult bookstores. So the main influences of Jupiter and Saturn now. Jupiter is in Libra from January the 1st to October the 11th this year. So frankness, honesty, and very open communications are the theme for this year. Even if you are brutally honest, the bullshit-free attitude will be much appreciated and not seen as insulting. You can talk about the most edgy, taboo, and politically incorrect subjects and be admired for your bravery. Your audience will be impressed with this uncensored information and a risque presentation. Your powers of persuasion are at their utter peak. So, if there are any stubborn clients that need swaying, do it this year. If there's something that you always wanted to say to a loved one but felt like you were treading on eggshells, then broach this touchy subject while you can. This is also a fantastic time for expanding your mind. You might even be tempted to blow those synapses using psychedelics or some other sacred juice, but you don't need to go that far. For your brain is already throbbing with excitement and able to absorb new wisdom with ease. The mind will naturally be able to see alternative vistas with very little herbal prodding. Dutch courage will not be needed either to unzip a reticent mouth, as words leap out before you even have a chance to contain them. Now, Saturn in Sagittarius is in your solar 5th house, from January the 1st to December the 20th. So who let the party pooper in? No one really likes Saturn here, but at least you can get very serious about creativity. This is the house of the 3 P's: pleasure, procreation, and playtime. Therefore, you will be tested how well you express yourself through romantic encounters. What might well happen is that you find yourself attracting people who constantly challenge your identity or critique your artistic products. The temptation at this point is to withdraw from dating altogether, as it feels too much like hard work. What Saturn will then do is poke you in the back and place you in very fated situations. You will keep running into that annoying person who rubs your ego up the wrong way. Eventually, the coincidences just get ridiculous and you might have to surrender to Saturn's ironic good timing. For those already with a partner, you might have to take on some extra burden that puts pressure on your relationship. It might actually be a nice kind of responsibility, like having a new baby. Whatever projects or people you take on at this time, it will cause you to place limits on leisure activities. Another possibility with Saturn in this fun section is that you put pressure on your partner to settle down and make a commitment, or they may make the same demand of you. There is a very strong parent-child dynamic here where you might want to play the child in relationships and just have fun. However, whenever you do go out to play, Saturn's firm hands rein you in away from frivolity. Such a waste of time. The best way to use this period is to work really hard on creative projects, for you will find you have great self-discipline when it comes to the arts and craft. This could be a wonderfully inspiring time for very sculptural projects, or a creative engineering project could go very well. You can be very ambitious while playing around with ideas. Taking a job that involves working with children would be perfect. As you progress, you start to feel increasingly more mature and patient. This allows the kids to enjoy themselves while you take care of practical matters. So now let's look at a little taster for the year ahead in more detail. So January to March, Lilith in Scorpio is from January the 1st to February the 11th. Your home continues to be a healing space where the food in your cauldron is medicine. You can use the magic of nutrition and herbs to revive and transform the lives of others. Now, this passage of Lilith might also bring up your own unresolved issues from childhood. For example, if your parents found it hard to accept you growing into an adult and felt somehow threatened by your budding sexuality. At this time, the parent may have rejected you, feeling threatened by your burgeoning power. But now is the time to reclaim that power and cast aside any residual shame. After February the 12th, Lilith transiting through your pleasure zone means creativity is heightened and the sexual urge is high. Since this is the house of children, Lilith here would prefer to act the child rather than being the parent. Now, here's the first of one of the eclipses in Leo for you, and this will happen on February the 11th. So, a lunar eclipse in your own sign forces you to look at your own needs. This may be done through relationships that suddenly start acting out. You may find it increasingly hard to compromise with partners, romantic or otherwise. At this time, the weighing scales of justice are measuring every little give and take. If there has been an ongoing imbalance, then the scales will abruptly clank down with a deafening thud with this lunar eclipse. For the next 3 months, then, you will not be able to avoid the stark differences between the two sides of the scales. If you have been generally balanced and fair in your dealings, then this can be a wonderful payback time. The second eclipse is the solar one, and that's in Pisces on February the 26th. Now, it can be very hard to tell what could happen with a solar eclipse in your house of debt, psychology, sorcery, and the taboo. It is meant to be a mystery. But one thing's for sure, it will highlight the importance of working with your shadow. Sometimes this shadow work happens because we are forced to deal with the unsavory subjects of inheritance, debt, or your partner's extravagant spending habits. These subjects can bring out the very ugliest side of human nature. Much depends really on your own soul's evolution. You may be the kind of person who absolutely relishes in delving deep into occult subject matter, reading psychology books, or studying the life of psychopaths. If so, then this eclipse will pass like a breeze. But the real issue is doing your own self-work. So in your research, you might bump into some of your own demons. Well, I hope you enjoyed that forecast. If you would like to download the full year ahead on PDF, do come down to dartstarastrology.com. That's my website. And there's also free monthly horoscopes, the full moon and the new moon every month as well. All the best then. Bye-bye.